You know, when I was a kid, all I wanted were handheld devices. In fact, if I was a kid nowadays, I would probably wait for that Nintendo Switch 2. But maturing is realizing that all you need in your life is a Steam Deck. Don't come at me. Look, I spent like hours, okay, trying to emulate games on this thing. I legally downloaded all the games. I played Spider-Man on this thing too, Cyberpunk. Man, I miss GTA San Andreas. And then I went out of my way to play Red Dead Redemption. Then I thought I broke my console.
Well, I've never seen this.
To the point that I just went to go grab an ROG Ally X and I started gaming on that. It's great, don't get me wrong, but I came back to the Steam Deck. You see, I'm getting old. I barely play on my PlayStation 5. I barely play on my custom PC. I just want to grab something, turn it on, and game right away. And then when I'm bored 30 minutes later, just put it down. And this, my friend, is exactly what it's for. It's been a great 45 days.
I don't know why I stress so much about buying this. Let me show you guys. Oh my god, this room's a mess. Yeah, okay, this is it. I swear I think it was probably like one of the first people to literally buy this.
December 5th, the day I unboxed this and set it up. You want to know why I got this? Sleep function. I've built a habit of keeping my gaming sessions to no longer than 30 minutes to an hour at a time, mainly because I get bored easily now, and so that's why I got this. Look, I hate closing all my software, making sure the GPU is up to date because I barely game, then loading the game. It only makes me want to do that if I know I'm gaming with friends. And so with the deck, knowing that people were able to hop on and off from where they left off, that really made me want to give this a try. And so for the past like 45 days, that's what I've been doing. But from the day I unboxed this, I never imagined it would become so much more than just that.
This is limited edition white Steam Deck with an OLED screen on 1TB model. Not cheap, eh? I'm like more excited to see what kind of mods I can do to this thing. Spend some time with it, play with it.
Today is December 5th, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this video. Look, second reason I got this, emulation. Not that other consoles like the ROG Ally X can't do it, but the simple console style interface, OLED with a bigger screen, the touchpads with haptic feedback, the button layout that directly translates into Game Boy, GameCube, PSP, and PS2 titles, and the fact that again, I can get up and running extremely quickly was a huge plus for me. So knowing that playing the latest AAA games wasn't a priority for me, the Steam Deck is what suits me the most. Yeah, just a quick update, I just got carried away. I started a career mode on FIFA Street. Man, did I miss that game. But what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put all my legally obtained emulators into my Steam Deck and just give it a try for a week. Yeah, obviously I went a lot longer than just a week. Why? Well, this became like a drug to me. It's like so accessible. I actually traveled with it, and the first time I did, I realized how comfortable it is at hand, but it took a bit of time to get used to it, I'm not gonna lie, because this has two parallel thumbsticks, and I wasn't a fan at first, but I got used to it. It eventually made me realize that since the middle of the device is thinner and the grips are larger, it became easier to sit, more comfortable, like easier to hold in any position, like in a plane for example with a tray table, or in bed when I was traveling abroad. And even though this is larger than most handhelds out there, it fits nicely within the plane's storage pouch. Traveling to Toronto for our pre-CES event really made me realize just how much potential this had in my life. I guess we can say that today's like officially my third day with the console. I just used it on the plane for a while. Man, I miss GTA San Andreas. I used to play that game so much. No, but honestly, this is one of the coolest things you can bring around with you when traveling. Literally, I used it for the whole plane ride, the departure, everything, and this thing is still really good on battery life. Amazing. I just brought it with me to Toronto because I'm here for an Asus conference. But yeah, I just want to keep playing with it and see how it goes. Today's I think it's been a week since I've had the Steam Deck, a bit more than a week. It's a great portable console. I have to keep reminding myself that yes, although it feels big for me, I come from a PSP. That was the last time I had a portable console and I was using it all the time. On the plane, it was absolutely amazing to have. This is like your best friend. I've been using it with the emulators a lot. I have to admit that I still need to dive into Steam and actually use it as a Steam Deck. And the one thing that really surprises me is just the battery life. It's absolutely insane. I often just put it like in sleep mode, and it chills in sleep mode all the time. As you guys can see, I'm still playing GTA. On sleep mode, it does eat a bit of battery. Like, battery dissipates a tiny little bit every day if you just leave it like so. I've realized that. Other than that, great console. The week I changed to the Vivo X200 Pro as my daily, that was the last day I only played emulator games on this. By the way, because this is OLED, emulator games can look a tiny bit off. Nothing major, but they just look like they are trying to be upscaled, and it can't deliver that to you. Up until that point though, my favorite things were sleep mode. The color of this thing, I learned to love the layout. I love the OLED because it is plenty bright. But I felt like because I wasn't playing demanding titles, with the fans not kicking at all up until that point, I wasn't really taking advantage of having a Steam Deck with an OLED screen. Look, a few days passed by and I had finally started playing some recent games. And this is where I fell in love with the battery life and OLED. Off the bat, I want to point out that the accuracy with this display while using it as a touchscreen is a 10 out of 10. Now, OLED on a game like Spider-Man, for example, is absolutely incredible. I remember a few weeks ago I was at like 90% battery life at around 6:45 p.m. I gamed for almost an hour or so. By the time I put this down, I was at like 63% by 7:38 p.m. That is an hour of Spider-Man on an OLED screen looking this damn gorgeous with battery life dissipating for a total of like 27%. I remember I had pretty much stopped playing that day right then and there, and while I had put it in sleep mode, a few days later I had picked it up and it was at like 38%. That day I kept gaming for like 45 minutes and battery did go from 38% to 9%. So this is the type of battery life you can expect while playing a game like Spider-Man. With emulators, it totally depends what you are playing, but till this day, when playing games like FIFA Street or San Andreas, I do find myself actually getting around 5 hours-ish of playtime on a single charge. Literally, up until that day, nothing has changed. Red Dead seems to deliver a bit more than 2 hours of playtime, but I'll talk about that later. Right now, I want to talk about this screen because when I started playing Spider-Man on this, I was hella impressed. Look, my first Steam Deck had an LCD display. To be honest, I barely used it, but with this, a few weeks ago when I started installing AAA games on it, I realized how insane this OLED screen is from my own perspective. It's got a 7.4 inch 800p 90Hz display with HDR support for enhanced visuals. It's really bright, capable of to 1000 nits, has great contrast, no backlight bleed, and low latency. Compared to the LCD model, okay, it has a larger screen with thinner bezels for a sleeker design, and combined with the OLED screen, efficient SoC, and larger battery, the battery life is now at least 50% longer. It's also a more responsive and precise touchscreen for smoother interactions, paired with upgraded trackpads with improved accuracy, enhanced haptic feedback, and a much better click mechanism. But up until that point, to be honest, I hadn't used them that much.
The one thing I still have yet to properly use are these trackpads, which are amazing. They feel so nice. There's like this little tingling sensation. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Very, very clean. I like that. It really helps when you're like actually navigating Steam OS. And what I mean about that is that, well, you actually have a switch to desktop mode that goes a bit into the actual OS of Steam, and then you can control a lot of the things right in here.
Steam Deck OLED has better speakers compared to the LCD version with like clearer sound quality, of course. The new chip also lowers heat generation. I can at least attest to that. And because of it, it runs quieter thanks to its improved fan. Overall, this thing is like 60 grams lighter. Now look, SteamOS is great. It really feels like a console. I can be playing a Steam Deck game one moment and an emulator game the next. But up until that point, with all the days and progression I had done in multiple games using the Steam Deck, I wondered how this would compare to the ROG Ally X, so I actually ended up getting one.
It's almost like Christmas came a few hours early for me. So this, my friends, is the ROG Ally X.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but for the past 3 weeks, I've been using my Steam Deck, and it's been absolutely amazing. But it does seem like a lot of people like to compare both of these to see which one is the best. And that, my friends, is what we're gonna do in this video. I just gotta unbox this, set it up, install my emulators, and
all that cool stuff.
A few days before leaving to CES, that's what I did. Okay, I set this up exactly the same way I had set up my Steam Deck. Of course, this being Windows based, the steps are quite a bit different. However, I was able to transfer my ROMs and my save data to my ROG Ally X without a single hiccup. No, that's actually not true. I did run into a few hiccups trying to locate these folders in SteamOS, but because the community for SteamOS is so damn big, I was easily able to find the answers.
Yes, sir, it works. Thank you, Lord.
But turned out that my button layout didn't really work. ROG Ally X off the bat doesn't directly translate my buttons for all the emulated devices, so I had to spend some time trying to find the solution for that.
First, click the ROG Ally Command Center button and make sure the control mode is sent on gamepad. ROG. Gamepad. Oh,
it works! I love the internet. Overall though, on my way to CES, I spent some time with the ROG Ally X. It is phenomenal. I absolutely love the design, and off the bat it has a very comfortable grip, very similar to like an Xbox controller. The console also delivers so many different ways you can tweak its performance just to make gameplay smoother. I did run a quick battery test on this and playing Spider-Man within my flight. Here's what I noticed. From 100% at 11 AM to 87% at 11:34 AM, all the way to 45% at 12:24 PM. This lasted about an hour and a half. The rate at which battery on the ROG Ally X dissipates seems a bit faster, and it definitely seems to get hotter than the Steam Deck. But this is an IPS 7-inch 1080p at 120Hz with VRR screen, and VRR on this is absolutely great. Plus, on the plane I did have my Bose earbuds connected to it. I'm sure that played a role in battery dissipation. Look, the ROG Ally X is a total different story in my opinion. If you want to play the latest AAA games, this does it for you. Call of Duty can be played with this. The Ally X is also slightly redesigned compared to the original Ally. They moved the SD card reader because it was causing some heat issues. They added a second USB-C port that supports eGPUs, which is nuts. Fingerprint reader actually works. It also has a better grip compared to the previous version. Compared to Steam Deck though, the fact that you can install anti-cheat software to play things like COD and play AAA games, use Game Pass natively without dual booting. It's also got a proper chip, the AMD Ryzen C1 Extreme, equipped with 24GB of LDDR5 RAM at 7500 MHz. It's just like very hard to beat, but I feel like even though the Ally X has impressive specs, the main thing holding it back is Windows OS. SteamOS is far more efficient than Windows. It's got that console-like simplicity, like going back and forth between games and browsing the library is far easier. Performance optimization is great. It's a lightweight Linux-based operating system, usually faster boot times, although I did run a test between the ROG Ally X and the Steam Deck, and the ROG beat it from a fresh boot. Look, overall though, Steam Deck is amazing, but if you want more power, more performance, and play proper AAA games, the ROG Ally X really wins for that. Note that when it comes to gaming, that's not the only thing Asus makes. You see, when I went to CES, Asus invited us to check out their latest gaming laptops and work-focused machines, of course. Two laptops that really stood out for me were the ROG Strix Car 16 and the Zephyrus G14. However, Asus recently announced the ROG Flow Z13, and Eber from Hardware Canucks actually talked about it in one of his most recent videos. This is essentially a high-performance gaming tablet designed with versatility in mind. So basically, Asus built a gaming device that you can literally use for productivity and gaming wherever you go. I also just love how you can see the motherboard through the RGB glass panel when it's powered on. It also features a Thunderbolt port, allowing you to connect it to the ROG XG Mobile, basically a 5090 GPU to be used as an eGPU. Since it's powered by an AMD Ryzen AI Max 395W processor and a Radeon 8605, it offers a very different experience compared to the Strix Car. Speaking of the Strix Scar 16, it's just on another level. This thing is equipped with an RTX 5090, 64GB of RAM, and an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor. The backlit logo on the lid is incredible, lighting up the cover beautifully. It also has a ton of ports, an RGB underglow along the bottom, a proper keyboard with a fantastic trackpad, and what might be the best mechanism I've ever seen for opening it up to upgrade components. For work, Asus had the latest ZenBook A14. I had the chance to try it a couple of weeks ago, and it's powered by the latest Snapdragon Elite chip. The chassis has been carefully redesigned for this year, featuring a material they call Ceraluminum. Ceraluminum is a material they developed to make it light and fingerprint as well as scratch resistant. So from the keyboard to the cover plate and back plate, the entire build uses this material. It's lightweight, portable, and premium. It's literally one of the lightest laptops ever, weighing just about 899 grams. And because it's powered by a Snapdragon chip, you guys all know how power efficient this can be, with Asus claiming up to 32 hours of video playback on a single charge. Plus, it's packed with plenty of ports, making it perfect for work on the go or at home. Look, at the end of the day, if you are also looking for something lightweight for gaming, you can't go wrong with the Zephyrus G14 or even the ROG Ally X. CES 2025 with Asus was absolutely incredible. If there's anything you'd like for me to review, drop a comment with a hashtag Asus and the model name and we'll make it happen. Look, as I've been spending time with this, I think I can give you guys a solid review of my emulation experience. If you're willing to invest the time and effort into a one-time setup with EmuDeck, the Steam Deck's capabilities truly become limitless. You can play any game from any console as long as you own these ROMs. EmuDeck also has this beautiful way to integrate the Steam library from the emulation station, although I did realize not all cover arts are available, but there are ways to find these online to make it all look nice. Honestly, I feel like most people will play their own purchased emulated games on their decks more than actual Steam games. Up to now, I've only had a few weird bugs like this one a few weeks ago.
I just ran into a little bit of a bug because of my emulator. I was on desktop mode, and then when I entered the game, I couldn't press these buttons. Like every time I would press these buttons, nothing would happen. So I didn't have a way to go back into like desktop mode or even the SteamOS mode. So I had to literally just restart the whole console.
That and the fact that my FIFA Street title for some reason bugs weirdly, but it plays totally fine. I absolutely love and miss this game, but other than that, input latency has been totally fine. You do feel it a tiny little bit on some more demanding titles, but it really isn't anything that ruins my experience. If it really bothers you, you can always go on Reddit, because there are all kinds of people trying to help out to make the experience even better.
Go ahead and click that launcher close out.
Yeah, I was about to give up, but I literally just spent the whole day today trying to make Red Dead Redemption work on the Steam Deck, and I finally got it done. I've been playing for quite a bit. Absolutely amazing. I spent a good amount of time that day trying to make this whole thing work. I made it all work thanks to Proton. Whenever I do stuff like this, especially when I dive deep into the desktop, I'm honestly amazed at how good the accuracy of the touchscreen is. Anyways, throughout this, I really thought I messed up my console.
Well, I've never seen this. I hope I didn't break my Steam Deck. I was trying to install the Rockstar launcher. Jesus, okay.
Eventually, I got it to work again. Honestly, I'm glad. But I ran into a few bugs because the launcher wasn't letting me type. I thought connecting the Steam Deck through the app with my phone would work, but I couldn't access all the characters within the keyboard. I did find a solution. All I needed to do was run the app from the actual game launcher and then everything worked. I legit spent like the next hour and a half playing Red Dead Redemption. About 30 minutes into the game, I've realized this was the hottest I've ever seen my Steam Deck get. The fans were actually spinning faster than ever before, and note that I was playing with a brightness level above 85% at all times. I think you can expect to get like a solid 2 hours on a game like this. The game looks absolutely stunning on the deck. I was averaging anywhere between low 40s to high 50s in frames per second. Input latency really is non-existent from what I'm used to. If you are a hardcore first-person shooter gamer, I don't know, maybe you'll be able to tell, but on my end, it was all good. After playing 2 hours, okay, with tiny little breaks here and there, battery went from 74% to 37%. Note that I was running medium to low settings with textures set to ultra. I also gave Cyberpunk a try, and this game looks so freaking good on OLED. Although it doesn't output high and stable frames per second like on the ROG Ally X. But again, the game looks absolutely stunning on the deck. You can get away with a decent gaming experience. And this was running at high to medium settings. You know, I've been thinking about it. I've been trying to find things that I don't like about this. Because it's white, the analog sticks are already sort of yellow, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, maybe I do find that the OLED screen gets very fingerprinty. Like, it gets dirty quite fast. I have to be cleaning it often compared to maybe like an LCD. And I've got already some little tiny scratches that don't go away, which is kind of weird. Not sure how that happened. But as a whole, I'm not sure if I would like more battery life. I think it's amazing. If you guys could give us more battery life than Steam, by all means. But other than that, you've made such a great little console. This is literally like my baby. I think that, you know, if you're going into your 30s, you're in your 40s, you want to maybe maximize family time because you don't have too much time to game, this is 100% my recommendation. I absolutely recommend this. If you want to get into competitive gaming and you like crazy graphics and all that, then maybe an ROG Ally X is more for you, something Windows based. Legion Go 2 apparently also is really good. I definitely recommend that for you. I have a PlayStation 5, a PC, but I've gotten bored of gaming because I'm always trying to game with friends and all that. We can't really match our times and synchronize our lives. It's kind of hard. But with this, I love story mode games. It's just so phenomenal. That being said, I will leave you guys with this. It's been an amazing 45 days. I absolutely had so much fun with this. I'm gonna keep using it for the trips this year. We have a lot of trips this year coming for the channel. I'm so excited. Make sure you give it a like. Give this a like. Make sure you give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel because we're trying to hit a milli, baby. And I will see you guys all soon. I promise you the Vivo video is coming out soon. I promise you. Maybe in 2 weeks. We'll see. I'm cooking it.